talking green flags today. People obviously refer to red flags. Maybe you could explain, Justin, what red flags are in a relationship. I mean, it's a relatively new term, isn't it? Red flags, green flags. So there's probably a few people going, I don't even know what that is, which is fair.
Yep. We love this topic because relationships are what we're passionate about. We love, building healthy relationships because we believe that's the juice of life when you feel that connection with another person. So red flags are the negative side, or the things that people want to, send your alarm bells off, and you want to pay attention to that, and you want to, either work on it quickly and ascertain whether this can be worked on or whether that's a deal breaker. So, disrespect,
mixed
messaging, people manipulating you, feeling manipulated, or someone's really not open to communication. They're really, shut down. The minute you talk about something, they just shut you down. They don't want to go there. Self-serving. They're just not interested in you. They just only want their agenda met. All of that sort of stuff is the red flags, which over time causes a lot of pain in relationships.
Absolutely. And, that obviously goes beyond romantic relationships. That can be with friendships as well. Let's turn to the green flags. Maria, you're smiling. Yeah. I love how positive you are when it comes to talking about the good stuff, as I'm calling it, in a relationship. Yeah. How do you define green flags?
Green flags are those signs that we get that signal to us that we want to move closer towards this person. And green flags, when we have them or we see them with another person, they're going to result in better communication over time, a deeper connection and personal growth. And that's what we're all after. We're social beings. We love relationships, and like you say, in lots of different types of relationships. So it's the signs that help us move toward a person. So that's what green flags are.
So let's talk about in a relationship. There's some really specific ones that I've been looking at, and maybe today is a really great opportunity for each of us to think, what are the green flags, and really hone in on what you're doing well in a relationship and give yourself a bit of a pat on the back, quite frankly. And you've just mentioned a key word there, and that is communication. Open and respectful communication. What does that look like for you guys in your relationship, Justin, that idea?
Yeah. We say that, like, a relationship's all about understanding that we all have insecurities. We all have a shadow side to ourselves that we're insecure about, that we don't really want another person to see because we don't want to see it ourselves. It makes us feel off, icky, yuck, shameful, whatever. So the open communication is being able to say to your partner, first you have to acknowledge that you have that, and then the open communication is being able to say to your partner what you need to say to work through that stuff. So for us, it's fundamental that open communication comes in line with growth. So if you want a big green flag in a relationship is someone who wants to grow. If you want to grow with your partner, it's not to say that you have any skills, you might be completely useless at relationships, but if you have the desire and the willingness to be open and courageous and curious to discover these things, then you'll be able to communicate. It might be clunky to start with, but you can definitely learn how to communicate effectively, because most of us actually can't communicate effectively because we don't know ourselves that well to start
that's with. So interesting, isn't it? And there's a green flag.
So
Learn how to communicate.
Yeah, it's really expressing your thoughts, your feelings, and all those parts of ourselves. Like Justin's saying, even if it's not effective, it's about a willingness and an intention to express those parts of ourselves, all of who we are. So we're showing up authentically. We're being who we are. And the person on the other end needs to be able to listen to that. Even if they don't understand it, there's a willingness to listen, to receive it, to allow it to be there, and to try to understand. And that's effective communication. It's a two-way process.
You're on 105.7 ABC Darwin, 783 ABC Alice Springs. Talking the green flags in your relationship, giving you a giant high five today for the good stuff you're doing in your relationship. Sure, we all have things to work on. Yes, we could be doing a bit better and enjoying maybe a more open, meaningful relationship, but there are many things you are doing well, and maybe you're not thinking about those green flags. And this is an opportunity just to reflect and think, ow, good on me. And you can text in if you've got a green flag in particular, 0487 991057. Maybe it's making your special person a cuppa in the morning because you know that that's a great way for them to start their day and they love that. And that's a kind thing to do. Or maybe you take out the rubbish because they don't like doing it, or they're super annoying and they should take out the rubbish, but they don't. So you do it and you don't complain. Let's talk about maintaining independence in a relationship. This can be a bit tricky. And supporting each other in that. And this is an excellent green flag. How would you describe that, Justin, supporting each other to maintain independence?
Yeah, that's really healthy because we're two individuals. So, in our relationship, Maria and I are two individuals. We both have very different hobbies, different interests, and there's shared ones as well. But you need to fill up. You can't give to your relationship with an empty cup. So you need to fill yourself up first. So the problem is, within a relationship when you have, past traumas or abandonment wounds or whatever that stuff, that can affect your ability to let your partner go and to give them the freedom to be independent. So again, it's about working on the relationship, and that's why that growth is so important. Hey, we might be clunky at this and there's insecurities that play in, but it's super important to have the desire to let your partner be free. So one of the things Maria and I said, after we had our, downtime in our relationship where we separated and all of that, where we decided we were going to work on this, this was going to be the purpose of our life, was to work on our relationship. One of the things we said for each other was, I said to Maria, I want you to be free, and that's my biggest intention for you. And if that means we're not together, that's still my intention. I want you to be free. And she said the same to me. I want you to be free. I want you to realise the potential.
But how did that look like? What does that mean to be free? To be free to see other people? Be free to go fishing every Sunday? What does it look like?
Well, not to me it doesn't. That might be for someone else. But for me, it's free to be your authentic self, understanding that you have insecurities and limitations and all of that stuff. So free from that.
Right.
So you work through that by finding your independence through hobbies. When I'm not connected with Maria codependently or in an unhealthy way, I actually don't like codependency because we're all codependent and unhealthy.
That word, you don't like that word?
Yeah, because I think it has negative connotations, because I think we are codependent in a relationship. We actually do regulate each other. We do play into each other's dynamics. So an unhealthy codependence is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So
I'm with you. And so you're smiling there. I love that. It's kind of a little secret smile there. What's going on?
I'm smiling because Justin takes it deep and I go, let's go into the light stuff. And this is partly the play, and it's wonderful. This is, allowing that, you asked about how do we maintain each other's interests, allowing our partner to go deep and listen and be there, and then him returning that and allowing me to bring it up and around and offer another perspective, allowing each other the space to be our whole person.
So on that, I did mention, of course, equal amounts of effort with the chores, and equal. And on that also, I'm thinking about text messages. So don't bombard one person with 100 texts and you get one in reply. There's got to be a balance there. Simple things like that are green flags, of course. Dating, travel, all that sort of stuff is balance. But also I'm thinking about feeling safe and comfortable. Is that a green flag for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. The core of our relationship has to be emotional safety. And everything that we work on in our relationship and teach others is all about how do you create emotional safety. And everything we talk about in a relationship boils down to feeling emotional safety, which just means you feel safe in your body. You feel safe being you, the authentic version of yourself. So I'm
thinking about, as a green flag, if I want to walk around with my knickers on at home, feeling 100% safe and comfortable to do that in front of my partner because they accept my body with all of its imperfections as it is. And that is a wonderful green flag, quite frankly, when you're 53 and menopausal, just saying.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, because we are so physically flawed, it's okay to be comfortable and your partner shouldn't be dissing you or saying, you need to do more exercise, stuff like that?
Absolutely. I mean, yes, absolutely. That's a green flag. If that's, that you can be completely comfortable with walking around your knickers or naked wherever in your home, and particularly in your own home. And if there's dissing and those sorts of things, that's speaking to a much deeper problem. Emotional safety is trust, it's reliability, it's our ability to know that your partner's there, they've got your back through the good times, through the bad times, that they're going to celebrate your wins and they're going to be there with a shoulder when things don't go so well. And then there's the deeper part of it where we're literally able to make a mistake and there's forgiveness, there's room to make errors, there's room to get things wrong, be triggered and say, oh my goodness, or be able to say sorry and that to be received. There's repair, there's a process of connection, disconnection and repair, but that goes around. There's a circle.
Can I just ask, and when you talk about that circle, do green flags change over time as your relationship grows, or are these sort of the fundamental things about communication and supporting each other and feeling safe? Are they a tenet that is always there?
I think they are. However, I do think the level of awareness that we have when we're first dating is completely different. And we age, and as we're aging and growing and adding in different things, mortgages, children, career changes, all these complexities, we deepen and we get to know ourselves better. We become wiser. And we grow as a partnership and we're growing individually too. So I think what's happening at the beginning, green flags and red flags at the beginning of the relationship are those sorts of things like, the very first things that feel off. Well, listen to that gut instinct, explore it a bit, and then, you can make your decision. Direct communication at the beginning of a relationship, asking people what you think you want at that point in time is a great way to, when you hear that response, have a really good listen to it, have a listen to the way it's, how that situation is handled or what that request is handled. Things like, if you're keen for a long-term relationship, state it up front. I'm actually looking for a long-term relationship. I'm not just dating for a quick relationship or a short-term relationship.
That's what Tinder's for.
That's what, exactly. And, and then even if you really are, if kids are something you really want, pop it up front, watch the response. And if it's not what you're expecting, maybe think about we're not aligned in our values or in our goals and our
there's
visions.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Because you're not going to get it right every time.
No. So I do think over time it does change for sure. But I do think the fundamentals are the same. We're talking about trust. We're talking about values. We're talking about respect. And I believe respect is a deep, non-negotiable for me. If there is not a deep level of respect, that's what carried us through, through the dark times. We were always respectful of each other, always. There was never the dissing and the bad-mouthing and those sorts of things. That behaviour never happened. And, an openness, a willingness and an intention to grow. Those are really wonderful fundamentals that really do make a deep connections, deep fulfilling relationship.
Fabulous.
So
lots of green flags there.